Thanks for letting me be here, it's an honor. Today I'd like to talk about something near and dear to my heart, gardening. I know, yeah, me and gardening have history. Ever since I was little, my dad and I would go work out in our garden and we would plant corn, we'd plant tomatoes, we'd plant squash, anything and everything, you name it, we planted it. Even though I never really developed a green thumb, I still appreciate gardening and what it can do. And I think if everyone gardened, Mother Nature would thank us for it. The problem is gardening isn't a very popular hobby anymore because it's not very convenient. There's just not very much produce left in America because there's not very much space left to grow it. And according to the law of supply and demand, that means the prices for organic fruits and vegetables go way up, which I'm sure you've all noticed at Smith's or Walmart or wherever. And this is a problem because those organic fruits and vegetables contain so many vitamins and minerals that are precious to the human body. And it's unfair that some people don't get those vitamins and minerals just because organic fruits and vegetables aren't in their budget. Another problem related to the lack of gardening is climate control. Greenhouse gases are upping the climate control, and carbon is one of those greenhouse gases. And plants help cycle out the carbon in our atmosphere. So when there are less plants, there's going to be more carbon. Additionally, less plants equals a suffering ecosystem. The animals and insects at the bottom of the food chain aren't getting the food they need because the food they need are plants. And when there's not very many plants, there's not going to be very many insects and animals. So the food chain is getting very imbalanced because there's just not enough plants. But the fix is easy. Just like I said before, I don't have a green thumb. And it's okay because even if you don't have a green thumb, you can still garden. One example of a way you can garden is a community garden. They're everywhere and you can find out about it online or through a friend or anybody to see if you can volunteer or if you just want to take the produce. Either one is great. The community gardens are low maintenance and they're fun. It's fun to socialize and just have that resource available to you. Another garden, like a community garden, is a rooftop garden. These are common in apartment complexes, and sometimes they're available, but sometimes they aren't. So it depends on your environment and where you live. I know for my rooftop garden, we have one that's in our complex that anyone can use, and classes are even offered about it. Okay, the most obvious example of a garden is a home garden. It can be big or small depending on your space and what time allows. For my family, that looked like a 1/4 of an acre garden and lots of time dedicated to it, especially during the summer. But I realized this option isn't available to everybody. It might not be able to be available to anyone, frankly, in my hometown. But you can still grow a garden even if it's just 1 or 2 plants. I know in Utah's climate, radishes, beans, zucchinis, corn, and lettuce grows well, according to Deseret News. It's really fun to experiment with different kinds of crops and just see what you can grow, and it saves a lot of money that way too. My family hasn't bought onions, pickles, tomatoes, and some lettuce in many years, and we've saved hundreds of dollars, if not thousands, just by doing that. But not without a lot of work. You have to be willing to put in the work to make a garden successful and beneficial for you. Another example of a garden is an herb garden, and this is probably the most easy type of garden to have because you just have to go to the store and buy a little pot with some basil or chives or thyme or whatever you want in it, and you put it in a windowsill or any place with natural lighting, and whenever you need the produce, you just pluck off a leaf of basil and put it on your pizza or wherever you're gonna have it. And this makes your cooking 10 times better, and it saves a lot of money that way too, instead of buying the basil that comes in the cheap plastic boxes that look super disgusting and you never know where they're coming from. If none of these options are available to you, either community gardening, rooftop gardening, home gardening, or even herb gardening, that's okay. You can still support gardening and be involved in simple ways. One way is to help start a community garden or just get involved with it somehow. You can start your own community garden by talking to neighbors and friends, see who wants to do it, or even talking with city officials to see if you can find funding for one. And then if you do have funding, plan a budget and manage time, make rules, and you could even make it an educational experience for you, for your neighbors, and for your children. Another way to get involved with gardening, if you can't have your own garden, is to buy produce from farmers markets. Generally, the produce found there is less expensive and organic. You know exactly where it's coming from. You know that it hasn't been chemically modified or that it's been grown in a factory. Who knows what. Growing any type of garden is a win for the environment. You can help the ecosystem, you can help reduce greenhouse gases, you help yourself and your family, whoever you feed, to lead healthier lifestyles by choosing foods that are more rich in nutrients and vitamins. And you're also saving your mental health because when you eat healthier, your brain gets healthier too. What do you have to lose from gardening? Even the simplest gardens, whether it be community, home, herb, or rooftop, are a win for the environment, and they can be so simple, but so helpful, because if everyone combines forces, we can help save the world and help save each other through gardening. Thank you.